Hello and welcome to the late Apex Racing TV show. For everything going on the channel, in the world of sim racing, for Apex Racing Team, for Apex Racing League, for Apex Racing Academy, everything that's going on in sim racing being covered by our show. Once again, I am Sam Fitzpatrick, and once again, I have David Sampson alongside me. David, how has the last week been for you?
Been busy, yeah. Obviously, lots to cover. I wish I could have been at the Expo, but one thing led to another, and I wasn't. But yeah, it's been a good week. Obviously, got lots to cover with the iRacing update, the Expo, everything happening on ARTV, and with the ART boys. Obviously, not so much Rennsport this week because obviously no ESL. Very feels like a very rare week off after such a busy schedule.
It's not quite as intense
No.
as it has been in previous weeks. The previous weeks of this, last two, have gone on for about 90 minutes. I don't think this one's going to reach 60, but I think we were thinking the first one may only go on for about half an hour, and how wrong we were. So well, I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Once again, thanks to everyone who's tuning in live on YouTube. To get involved with any questions that you have or any points that you have. And of course, welcome to everyone listening along as well on whatever podcast platform you listen to this broadcast on. It is very nice to have you along for the ride. And of course, a quick thanks to Apex Racing Academy. And of course, if you haven't already, do use the code LATEAPEX, that is with no spaces, over at apexracingac.com in order to get yourself 3 months free of the service.
Long time.
But let's move on to the sim racing news. I think we should go, and I've written this in the wrong order.
Yeah,
I think we should go Sim Racing Expo first because that's the title of this anyway.
Sure.
A huge event, and yeah, some pretty big stuff. I wouldn't say it's the biggest sim racing expo ever. I think last year, from what I remember of it, there was a few more launches. Maybe there's just been a few extra things announced before the sim racing expo, so it's not new once we get to the sim racing expo. But there's still some things to take away from the event.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I love that this event's on. Obviously, it's my passion, it's my hobby, but I do get the feeling that this was the least busy, not just from the vendors, but also from the people there, the participants. It was lower. That's the general numbers. Obviously, they posted that there was 4,300. That sounds like a big number.
It's a big venue,
and it's over 2 days. Yeah, I just feel, and obviously the themes changed. If I remember rightly, correct me if I'm wrong. It used to be a free event. I think it was at the Nord when it was at 2 years ago. 3 years ago, time's flying. It was free. Then I think it was a small fee, whereas I think this one was like £25 a ticket. So obviously they need to get their money from somewhere. Pandemic craze is over for sim gear, and the theme I'm getting from the photos and everything I saw, I think again it was the Aztec show.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I've been saying Aztec.
Aztec. I prefer yours.
Yeah, you need to say it with a Danish accent.
A Danish accent. My Danish accent's weak, being British.
Yeah. But yeah, Aztec once again really providing a lot of stuff. Of course, we covered them last week when it came to their wheel rims, and they were on show. They were also showing off their various wheel rims with like an LED show, basically. So like they did have like different stuff where I think like the LEDs matched up with like music or whatever. It was quite nice. It's quite like obviously it's a novelty, doesn't mean anything, but it's quite nice, and it's cool that they're putting the effort in. I think they had the biggest stand on online. I've seen a lot of praise for them. So again, they whilst I don't think they brought as much new stuff as they did last year, when I think they were even less established than what they are now. I think again, as you said before, they were still the stars.
Yeah. So hi Kurt in chat. He's saying 58, and then Skids is saying 24. So 24 a day, 58 in total.
That's a lot. Yeah. I'm surprised there's not a big discount for both days.
Or maybe there is.
Well, I mean, I trust that it's 58, but like, yeah, I would have thought maybe 25 for
I'll have the full weekend
30
pass
for the weekend or something like that. But
so
no, that's harsh.
2 years ago, I went, and Aztec were the stars. So they were in the middle. It was lively. It was music. They had a car there. I think this year they had the LMP3 on show. I was gutted not to be there. I would have loved to be there to meet lots. I loved it last time. But yeah, I mean, I took Lisa along with me when I went 2 years ago. There's no way I'd have spent if it were, let's say it was 58 for the 106 for the two of us, plus the plane flight, plus the travel, plus the
But
hotel,
surely
plus
that means, surely it's because of the travel that people are like, I paid 300 quid to get here, having to pay 60 quid a night for a hotel. I'm all right paying 25 quid. Is
yeah,
that the
true.
logic?
Yeah,
Or?
for sure. It's just, it adds up fast, right?
Mm.
Especially if you went with intent to actually buy something, you're spending a lot on. Yeah, it's as I say, I still would have went. I might still plan to be there next year. It's just circumstances that stop me going. That's it. And I'm unorganized, so I always tell people very last minute. Very last minute. I don't know. People ask me. I don't know. I don't plan too far ahead. But yes. So actually, on the LMP3 subject, I heard from a rumor, a reliable rumor, that they fired up the LMP3, which was allowed because this is a beast of a car, very loud. I mean,
yeah.
I think they had. I've got a very bad memory. 2 years ago, I think they just had an engine or a smaller car. It wasn't. Anyway, I heard that on the Sunday they fired up the LMP3 without permission, and there was the talk of them being removed if they do that again. That it was from a reliable source. I wasn't there, so I have to just say that. But I would have loved to have seen the LMP3 up close. Quick shout out to my wife, who when we went to a few races and it was her favourite. The looks and the sound was the LMP3. Me,
Okay,
it was the RSR. Like, oh my god,
yeah.
that thing
Absolutely screams, doesn't it?
it screams. But yeah, it was LMP3 for her.
Yeah. Good taste, I think, on that one. I do like the MP3s. Yeah, Kurt saying 50 euros for the after party, but was worth it. So I'm glad that it was worth it, Kurt. Yeah, apparently someone else in chats. Apologies, I can't pronounce that name. SK1DZ, knowing a friend.
Skids.
Oh, Skids. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, very smart. And
Thank you, sir.
yeah, combine it with a trip to Nords. So yeah, for us Brits, I mean, if
True.
you're going to go over there, go to all the sites. So yes, pretty cool day. And yeah, so as a tech, probably the big show, and I think the people who impressed the most, Fanatec, arguably with the biggest one-off single release. We already talked about last week the Club Sport DD.
Yep.
They also had the Club Sport DD Plus. Now the Plus is worth 300 extra euros. It's 1,000 euros. But
sorry, you said the word worth. I think it means costs.
Costs 1,000 euros.
Okay, good. That sounds better.
And it has an extra 3 Newton meters, so 15 Newton meters. It's also PlayStation compatible as well. Apparently, you can make it like compatible for PC and Xbox as well with the Plus, but you can't make the plain one compatible with PlayStation.
Okay.
It is also, but the Plus is compatible with PC. 300 euros extra. It seems quite a lot.
Now, the 3 Newton meters. That's I can't even begin to talk about that for the way. It's not obviously it's not worth 40. To be honest, to me, 12 is enough. 15 doesn't do a lot.
There's not going to be anyone who's going to need more than 15, as far as I'm aware.
No,
like, you need to be very strong. To use
no, I don't
15.
know how much the console licensing is. I can't even begin to fathom, especially on a smaller scale. Like if we're talking about a controller that you're going to shift, 100,000. I don't know. I'm not in the console game. I'd say 100,000 units every quarter, which is seemable for a controller. For a DD, I don't know how many they're going to shift, so I assume it's the kind of PlayStation, Xbox license that you can't negotiate on a mass scale. So I imagine that is quite expensive, and there is some overhead. 1,000 though.
1,000 compared to its rivals, which are marked around sort of the. I mean, look at Aztec.
Yeah, I just feel the trend with DD isn't Newton meters and isn't compatibility. It is bringing the price down. That's how I feel like the trend has been over the last year. So it's Simicube coming under attack because they're the Simicube 2 Pro. I used for a very long time, hasn't come under attack on, let's say, people trying to out-quality them or outdo them on software. It's just been about cutting them on price and getting the basics in. As long as you can customize your profiles, save them per game, the wheelbase be reliable, not let you down. It's about undercutting them on cost. I don't know, 1,000 euros for a 15 Newton meter just doesn't seem right in this year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it just doesn't. I mean, VRS has been out for a while now.
Yeah, over a year.
Yeah, and they did that. They undercut the competition. We're seeing Sim Magic and the other one. Quite a few companies be quite aggressive with their pricing on DDs, and that's what I want to see. I want to see this become more and more accessible.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just looking at the Forte for Azatec. That's 882, and that's for 18 newton meters. So an extra 3 newton meters, and still over 100 euros cheaper. Of course,
Yeah,
I think what they would argue is that, and we went through the page last week in terms of them selling it as it's a constant 15 newton meters. It doesn't drop, and it's extra responsive as well. And so, rather than just the headline figure of how much strength it's got, actually there's a lot more nuance to it. It's the thermal efficiency of it. It's just really tricky to tell, and I hope someone does a really comprehensive review as well.
yeah,
Is it actually like a level up, or are they just saying stuff which portrays it
yeah.
as a
I would
bad
like.
product?
I want to see a response from the other manufacturers, but then again, maybe the other manufacturers don't need to respond because they know it's not their wheelbases being attacked. Maybe VRS and SimiCube don't want to come out and say anything because they're like, well, we don't. Them graphs you've drawn, that's not us, mate.
Yeah.
Are they comparing it to the like Chinese import, the rise of the Chinese ones we're coming from? I don't know, but again, I just don't think DDs need to be attacked on that level. I think it's price. We want to see consistent, well built, good software, but I still think the Proker should be on price. Getting that 12 to 15 sweet spot for as cheap a cost as we can, drive the price down. Like we're seeing these SimiCube pedals and the idea of putting direct drive motors in each pedal.
Mm.
I would love to try it. I mean, is it on the spectrum of affordable? No, 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 no. I'm sorry. I like SimiCube. You know, I use their product for a very long time, but I see people ordering 3. I mean, if
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
spending
that's
that on a
crazy. Yeah, yeah.
clutch, I'm sorry, you've gone past the word hobby. That's obsession now.
You say people, so multiple people you've seen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Order it with their own non-streamers,
Okay. Yeah.
i.e., you know, people that don't get them for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to see if we can bring down the price of direct drive motors. We can bring this technology, the idea of because it is just a direct drive motor inside a pedal. That's how this technology works. If we can drive down the prices, we can then start seeing other manufacturers come in, and that's what we want. We want competition because we want prices being brought down.
Smoggy asking, I know Aztec Talk was last week, but do you think they could compete with SimiCube? I think different markets, isn't it? Aztec, more the affordability, and SimiCube tend to think the cutting edge of equipment. You know, they tend to be the first ones to.
Yeah, let's see, because SimiCube is more they only hit home runs. Like, they don't just release a product to be like, oh, let's see how this does. No, SimiCube, when their DD was released, I think everyone would say it was the DD. You know, back then the Leo Bodnar was what, £4,500. Or they were very different. Like the only YouTube video you'd see about a direct drive back then was what, like, I think one of the ones I first saw when I was first getting simulator racing and contemplating an idea was almost the video on like what they don't tell you about direct drives and how difficult they are to set up and how it's not plain sailing. But SimiCube came in with fantastic software, fantastic design. It kept itself cool, very easy to use. Yes, it was expensive, but it was a home run with their SimiCube pedals. Yes, are they priced crazy? Yes. Are they in a league of their own? Yes. Can you compare them to anything else? No. I do think Aztec can compete with SimiCube. I'm not an Aztec fan. I am a SimiCube fan out of the two, but Aztec are taking the Fanatec model of ecosystem and they're nailing it. Their prices are aggressive. Their marketing's aggressive. Let's see. Like, their products are getting out there now. We'll start to see not just I appreciate all the reviews, but, you know, they still have that new box smell. I want to see how they are in a year or two because SimiCube, you know, their failure rate was extremely low. So I do think they can compete with SimiCube. SimiCube aren't going for this ecosystem yet. They have products, but not an ecosystem.
Yeah, and I imagine already Aztec are probably selling more stuff than SimiCube, honestly. But like obviously at potentially a smaller margin, I imagine.
And Sorry, on that actual specific subject about Aztec and Simicube touching, again, I don't have all the inside knowledge. I have an accumulation of lots of rumors I hear, but I think Aztec have bought the IPO on Simicube technology, especially in the direct drive department. I don't know. See, I don't know if we're talking about the firmware or behind the scenes on the software, not the UI, but maybe the back end workings on how the everything from the middleware and the firmware, from how the software and the DD interact with each other. Maybe it's just that. I'm not privy to this sort of information, but that's the overwhelming thing that I'm hearing, that Aztec have got a lot of Simicube information paid for, but Aztec are going at it.
Yeah.
They are throwing money and marketing at it with the Fanatec model. But yeah, well, Fanatec's always been there. Seems like they've always been there in sim racing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
I think their biggest downfall was just felt like they always felt a step away from the community. They felt like they copied
Maybe
the Apple business model, but also the way Apple don't
corporate, I guess.
Yeah, they don't listen.
Yeah.
Like we see with Android or going any big market that competes with Apple, their edge is we're listening. Let's we can take it to Apple because we're listening. I always felt like Apple copied too much. Fanatec copied too much of Apple, because it always felt like they were walled, not just with their ecosystem, but walled with the community. Whereas Aztec are throwing a party in their face. Like, it's literally a party. That's what their booth is themed around. Race cars, LEDs. It's clever.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Yeah, it's very smart stuff that they've been able to pull off, and yeah, with their own unique design, the brand is certainly boosting. We also had another Fanatec wheel display. This was, and apologies to podcast listeners, but you just got to imagine a very fancy wheel. Now, I think, here we go. I think this will show. There you go. So yeah, this is pretty neat, right? I think this was on show last year, and this is like a prototype. It's not really a wheel. Don't expect ever to be able to buy this. But I didn't see the scrolling thing last year. It looks real neat. It would probably cost a few grand if it went on the market. And of course, it's a combination of Bentley and Fanatec from their GT3 Bentley.
Yeah, I mean, they were successful with the BMW one, right? If I remember rightly, that's the one that's straight from a race car, and they sell that. Yes, you mentioned it before we fired this up, that you think you saw it. I think I saw it at the Expo 2 years ago. We got someone in chat. The elusive Bentley rim. I assume that's the money hit then. Yes, it's not come to mind. I think you asked me what I thought of the screen. I hate that.
Oh yeah, it's not usable, is it?
No, I mean, that screen would make me either feel motion sick when I turn, because it isn't staying still. It moves still. I don't know. I don't like that. It would be distracting mid-corner.
Fanatec also had their F1 sim rig as well. There was a few different.
Yep.
I think rigs was one of the big things, honestly. We had motion rigs from Grit Racing and Live to Race, and a few others, all trying to sort of tap into that market, which I don't think has really exploded yet. I'm a bit surprised actually that so many companies are going for the motion rigs, because I feel like most sim racers sort of made up their minds that they're not going to go for it. Honestly, like it seems very tricky to convince someone, and yet multiple companies are having the ambition to make that breakthrough, which I don't think anyone has so far.
I've never been tempted. Like, seriously, never been tempted. And I could probably get my hands on a few, but I don't know. I mean, again,
sim racing isn't visceral enough. I really struggle downstairs. I'm used to like a G25 or like a G29. I won't put myself down too much. But like downstairs, when you got actual force feedback, when you got the 3 screens, I'm knackered after 20 minutes. I can't be dealing with the seat moving against me as well.
When we speak to, I think we've spoken about this before, but when we speak to esport drivers or anyone at the top level competing, we ask them about motion rigs. They always say the same thing. They're great. They're fun. Like, it adds that extra dimension. And then the question, would you use it in a race? PESC, yes. And the answer is easy, no.
Yeah.
Always no. Yeah, I mean, we do see a few people promoting them. Are they partnered with the one they're talking about? Usually. I'm not sure. If I used one, it would be on very low settings. I would be using it like a butt kicker. I would want just the smallest of signals in each corner. I don't want to be thrown forward in my seat. I mean, I tried one at the Expo, and all of us, there was like a group of 5 of us. The thing we were laughing about the most is how ridiculous some of it is when you're coming up to a breaking point or like road lantern on the brow of a hill, and yeah, you can't see your breaking point because you're thrown forward in your seat. I like the idea. They look cool.
Good for events.
Good for a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Not for, I don't know. To me, I think it hasn't taken off. I'm not sure if it's going to take off. I don't know how feasible it is in your average bedroom where it's loud enough that you have a DD vibrating the floor, but now you actually have things slam. I don't know. I don't think it's very feasible. And the cost as well. It's another barrier. Again, a big barrier to entry.
Yeah. Well, that's been mentioned by Skiddits, saying how it's basically motorsport money, and you'd rather compete in an actual karting championship. Karting, at least when I was younger, it's like 50 quid a round or so for rental karts. So you could do a year, like once a month of a meeting, and for the price of a decent rig. So yes, yeah, that's very possible. So yeah, I sort of agree with that one. That's fun for 5 minutes, but yeah, in the long term, not going to be too good. Sabre also released their sim racing cockpits. And I know, I struggle with rigs, honestly, David. Maybe you know more about rigs than I do, but it just looks like a rig to me. Like, I feel like some of this other stuff is like Newton meters and about oscillation rates and hertz and whatever. And it's a rig, and it's like, yeah, I guess that will be practical.
Yeah, I've had a few rigs in my time. I think the biggest features is obviously, I don't know, it is tough. I agree. I don't want to just strip it down to say, yes, it's just the metal and then you get accessories to put it together. Everyone's going for their own unique look. I think the Saber's got one of those angled back pieces.
Yeah, you might be able to show it. There it is.
Yeah, exactly. That I mean, it doesn't quite show how strong or well bolted down it. I'm not sure. I don't know. I am with you. It's hard to sell a rig. You want to focus on cost, shipping, how easy it is to put together. The parts, like things like the pedal tray, how the DD mounts, and just all the connecting parts and how well it stays together. Because yeah, I've seen some cheap accessories be used before, or the cheapest of cheap bolts, and you go to use an Allen key, and 4 out of your 20 strip after the second rebuild. Let's see. I agree. Shipping, I usually tell people when they're picking between 2 rigs is shipping, because these things are heavy, they're bulky. So if you're buying them out of country, it's usually a no, because you're up into the hundreds. If they're local, I agree though. The thing rig companies seem to be doing that lately. I don't know if you've seen the sim, what are they called, the popular ones over here, the Evo and the GT1. Is that the SimLab?
SimLab, yep.
If you look at their new rig, it's overwhelmingly focused on the. I can bring it up if you want, as we're on the subject of rigs. SimLab. I noticed this recently, that the focus seemed to be differentiating themselves. That's the word I'm looking for. Differentiating. That seems to be the focus on rigs, because otherwise it would just be an accumulation of pieces. Where is it? Is it this one? No, not going to show that. That's not as different.
Whilst you look for that, it has been pointed out to us that the Coffee Racer rig was quite popular.
I loved it. I was in it. I met the owner. It's brilliant.
We should be able to get it. This is, we should shout out, thank you to Random Call Sign for that. I think I've seen a fair few of his videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is basically like turns into a table, basically. So like you can use it fairly normally in everyday life. There it is. This is the box. I'm not totally convinced by this. Like the idea is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's one of them where would you actually use that? Like, realistically, would you actually use that?
I was blown away because it looks small, it looks clunky, it looks weak.
That's what comes to mind, yeah, weak is what.
When I sat in it, I was sat in it with Hussenfeld Sprints, and I want to say it was like a Fanatec DD2, I think, 2 years ago. Something. It was a DD of significant strength, pedals of significant strength, and I didn't notice any massive flex right away. He let me do a couple of laps in a set Corsa, ACC rather, sorry, which is notorious for quite high force feedback. I was slamming the pedals, and I was impressed. I didn't notice huge flex in the pedals. I expected a lot of left to right lateral movement, but again,
no one races like this, right? He sat on his sofa, or not on a sofa, but on a desk chair, basically.
yeah.
I don't know in what scenario you'd want that.
It's,
You know?
well, two things. It's price and being able to put it away at the end of the evening. If you don't have
Yeah.
a rig, if you don't have a room where you can store your rig,
I mean, maybe I come from like a middle class family, and I'm thinking, why don't you just make the living room a sim racing room or something like that?
I'll throw a wife into that mix who tells you
Yeah, I haven't got that problem yet.
never gonna happen, and then you're like, every evening I can make it a coffee table. She'd be like, as long as
Still
it's
not going to happen. I think you're not going to spend. I mean, who puts it away after? I mean, come on, if you are putting that away every day, I mean, you have so much. Basically, you would be earning enough to be able to make another house to put it in, honestly, because you have got incredible self routines in that occasion.
No, honestly. So I honestly went into it with the same reservations you did. I bumped into him. He knew who I was. We had a nice chat. But I will be brutal in IRL when I'm reviewing a product. He wanted my feedback, not recorded. There's no footage of this. And I was skeptical. I was like, well, go on then. I'm used to, pro rigs, and I'm lucky to have tried all the best equipment. And I sat down. He had, let's say, some Hussenvelds, and I think it was a Fanatec DD. It was set high, which I was impressed about. I was waiting for it to be in like G29 mode. Did a few laps of Spa, and I was chucking it. And the first thing I noticed was, wow. Because, yeah, I did sit in one of those chairs. I think it locked. I think the front locks in, which I was super skeptical about. This little box I was super skeptical about. And the monitor was just placed on like a table behind where I was pushed under. And, yeah, I didn't notice any flex. I was impressed.
I think it's really well made, and I think the fact that they have been able to, get a market for it and get interest from it, demonstrates it's a very good product. I don't understand why someone would buy it, but I do understand why someone would buy it. I just don't think someone would, especially someone who goes to the Sim Racing Expo. These people are like us. They're very much into sim racing, and therefore they're gonna divorce their wife if it means they get an extra room for a rig. So, yeah.
So we've got Kurt in chat. Kurt I've known for years.
Kurt's proven me wrong.
I'm racing in the living room with kids and a wife. I'm using a rig on wheels, which I can ride away from my desk. There you go. So he gets to sim race and save his marriage. All in one package.
Yeah. Yeah, well, fair enough. Clearly there's demand.
You're outnumbered.
Me. Yeah. I'm outnumbered. I stand corrected. Let us know if you agree. Bombard chat for next week if you're listening to this back, or if you are listening right now. Bombard chat and tell me that I'm wrong. I'd love to see it. Well, we weren't planning on talking about the Corby.
No.
But there you go. Yeah, Asher had the McLaren wheel, but they were released last year as well. I think
Yeah.
there's like 4 different ones. I think you can buy them. They're quite expensive, but they're not ridiculously expensive. But I mean, and we've had this conversation off air a couple of times today. It's very much those rims going for the realism rather than the sim racing side of it. And so actually, what you get for the rim isn't that much, but it is like a McLaren in real life. So
Yeah, for sure.
it adds more value to it. It depends what your priorities are.
McLaren is my priority. So, yes.
Everyone else, no, don't do realism, but McLaren.
Yes.
Ah,
yes,
we're
Bentley,
onto
that's a dumb
something here.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else from the Sim Racing Expo?
Apart from gutted, I wasn't there. No, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I think we spoke to it as well. The overwhelming theme that I got was motion rig, Azatec. That was the 4 key points. Motion rig 3 times, though.
Yeah. So other news happening on sim racing. First few shots of the United Autosports Oreca on Le Mans Ultimate. It's not really big news. The game's coming out in like 6 weeks or something.
Is it really?
Well, it's meant to be December this year, right? So it's like, but like every day that goes by where they're not releasing trailers and stuff, it's like, is it? But
I'm excited for it.
I think we should all be very excited for it. But yeah, they keep on drip feeding out these like screenshots. It's not a whole lot, honestly, but it looks pretty nice, and you can see the rain as well on it. This is Spa.
So we covered this last week. So obviously, Le Mans Ultimate is a repurpose of R Factor 2 with just the focus on WEC and the Le Mans 24. They've licensed all the cars, so we're getting all the LMD. Not called LMDHs, are they, for WEC? They're called
LMH.
LMH. Yes, correct. I'm excited for it. I've always liked R Factor 2. Obviously, they've been working on their online multiplayer recently. I don't know if you've seen. So there's like a ranked rating, ranked safety rating, and they've been going. It's been getting better, stronger, and week on week. And I assume all of that was just a guinea pig test facility to get ready for the Le Mans Virtual. But yeah, I love multi-class racing. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, and yeah, we should all be certainly giving it a chance. Like I know some people have been quite dismissive of it, but I think it'll be very good. I think more interesting. This is really getting into nerdy sim racing stuff.
I know what you're going to
What's
say.
more interesting, an Acura livery? No, it was an Oreca livery. My bad. Or some grass.
Grass.
The eternal question, and somehow it's grass, isn't it? Because Ian Bell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Released some images.
While you're loading that, we've had a comment from Ryan Reisman, who I've known the name of for many years. He said, "It's motorsport games. I will not try it." It's a shame that that's the sentiment applied to Studio 39. What's it called?
397.
Because yes, we know Motorsport Games has made many acquisitions and they've got games on the mix, but this is Studio 397, which I don't want to confuse the recent news and hype of the hatred of Motorsport Games. It is a hype train to hate on Motorsport Games, like same as Facebook. They're in the same pile right now. There's no coming out of it, no matter what they do. But R Factor 2 has been with us for, at guess I'm gonna say like
05, I want
yeah,
to say.
it's a very, very long time. It's been, I wouldn't have got to iRacing if it hadn't been for R Factor 2. It nurtured my love of sim racing. It was solid. Is it super reliable with the online virtual Le Mans? No, because they tried to take something. I want to say this was the biggest sim racing spectacle for a one-day event ever.
Yeah, I think the top three would all be virtual Le Mans events.
Yeah, because we had Max Verstappen, we had lots of IRL, we had
maybe the Vegas E race is the only
oh
one
yeah,
that counts
okay.
with it. Yeah,
But
in
this
terms of
one
day.
we had Max Verstappen competing it. We had the broadcast and the commentary. You're a commentary broadcast fan. This was hyper. This was legit. This was so good to watch. It went so badly. Obviously, actually, so badly is an underestimate on how bad the server organization went. I think. Because they were just restarting the servers, trying to put people on the right laps, getting it wrong. Like, you got Max on the radio, like, I'm a lap down question. They're like, yeah.
It's a really tough job when
Yeah.
it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
When it's going live, because, last week I set up a session wrong for Apex Racing Academy Super Formula. And I'm stressed. I'm thinking, oh no, got to launch the server, delayed everyone by 10 minutes. Didn't really care that much. I can imagine if Max Verstappen was shouting at me and I was being told, you'll probably lose your job. And that is just an embarrassment for potentially a hobby that you quite like, and you might be setting back sim racing multiple years on the world scale. That's a lot of stress, and I do feel bad for everyone involved. But Le Mans Ultimate, in the end, even if it's just a solo player game, regardless of what the online will be, it will still be the go-to game when it comes to WEC material, and they are certainly ambitious.
Before we move on, one last comment. I think the hype train really started on the last edition of Le Mans Virtual. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. Motorsport Games didn't own R Factor 2 then.
I think they did.
They
I'm
did?
I'm not entirely sure because Le Mans Virtual last year was only a year. It was start of this year, wasn't it? It wasn't start of last year. It was start of this year. It was definitely start of this year
Good
in
point
January.
then.
So I think Motorsport Games bought them in 2020 or 21. I'm not entirely sure. I think Motorsport Games always organised Le Mans Virtual as well. I'm not sure.
No,
if they
you're right.
necessarily
They're the
owned
money behind
the-
them. They're the money behind the license,
Yeah, yeah. So
and it's why iRacing lost Le Mans 24 as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so
albeit that was a little bit today. I think it was.
maybe I'll get on this train. No.
I mean, it's really been a train since I think the first NASCAR game came out.
Yeah,
which
that was
they
a horror
released,
show.
And then their stock price fell. And
All right, grass.
grass. Let's show you the images. Grass.
I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, just to put this in context, this is being screen grabbed from a laptop, outputted to the stream, and it still looks crispy. I mean, the second shot just looks real. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it looks nice, doesn't it? Look at that. Oh, no, you can't see my cursor, but I'm looking at by the wall again. Apologies to everyone who's listening on podcast, but basically, the grass looks real.
So,
nice.
for anyone missing, this is the GT Revival game from
What are they called now? It's quite a long name. Something for race, something for motorsport.
I'll find it.
But yeah, this is Interlagos, obviously. Everyone watching this obviously knows that it's Interlagos because we're all nerds. And yeah, it's. I mean, I think Ian Bell is a very good promoter of his games. Because he just drips feed stuff.
Straight for Studios.
Straight for Studios. There you go. But you can see, look at that, some GTR liveries on it.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And this will be released, I believe, in 2025 is the...
I'm hyped about this. He's been behind some of the... Obviously, we talked about this last week, but he's been behind huge titles. I think it's in his Twitter bio, actually. Or X bio, sorry. Creative GTR, GTR Legends, Project Cars, Need for Speed, Shift, and the legendary Test Drive. You can't say Test Drive without saying Legend. I loved this. I don't know if you've ever played it.
I played Test Drive, like, 4?
Oh, right, yeah.
I want to say, like, 2012, something like that.
They were fun. Behind the marketing, Project Cars marketing debacle. Yes, Project Cars 3 was when they changed to this
It became very arcadey.
arcade fest.
A lot of criticism. People saying, why didn't you make it Project Cars arcade? I don't know. Like, but basically, like Forza Horizon, basically. It's like, if you want to make an arcade game, name it something different rather than compromise
you're right.
the entire
Forza
brand.
did that well. They
Yeah.
separated their racing fans from their fans that just want to control it, have fun,
Exactly.
collect kudos points, and mess around with stuff. But yeah, that was a shock for sure. But maybe that's where his passion came from. From GT Revival. I don't know. I don't know the man. He's just good at marketing.
Very good at marketing. So that's GTR Revival. F1 2023 has had some updates. Has added the 2023 F2 roster.
Yep.
This includes a 14-round season for the cars. Also updated the liveries because some of the liveries have changed. So, I mean, if you spot that difference, I call myself an F1 fan. Honestly, so much could change, and I wouldn't notice it when it comes to liveries and stuff. I'm really not one for. I mean, you're a McLaren fan.
Yeah.
Can you name all 55 sponsors which are on their car? Most
Google
sponsors
Chrome.
of any team. Chrome. Is Johnny Walker one? No, I don't think it is it?
No. Maybe. There's that chocolate. Oh, that was the year before, and then the chocolate one's gone. Oh, no, it's still there. What's the chocolate brand called? But no, I agree. The sponsorship and I mean, I know it's all money and marketing, but in this, I just don't I'll never understand that side of it, where a company's paying 11 million a year for a...
Is it actually worth it? Yeah. Like how they... Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
But I suppose that's a different word, right? We think marketing. They're thinking exposure. Like Coke and Pepsi, right? They know you're going to buy a drink, and they know generations that are growing up are going to become one or the other. You usually do become one or the other. So I suppose it is about investing in that future generation that... I don't know. that they're going to pick off a TikTok video. So I don't understand the future generations.
Yeah. At least we've got sponsors in Formula One, and they've updated it on the new liveries, which is good for them to see. It sounds like I'm being all snarky and stuff and saying, "Oh, why are they updated the liveries? Why they should do something else?" No, of course it's good that they're updated the liveries. So go on them for doing that. SimRacing.gp. GP as well. This is unrelated to the update. They announced that they're going to expand their services. This is a bit similar to, apologies, Low Fuel Motorsport, who have done a similar platform for various different games, including ACC. I think SimRacing.gp are also on ACC, also the original Assetto Corsa game, and they've also announced they're going to be on Forza Motorsport as well. So those who are invested in or looking to get into league racing on Forza, on Formula One as well, SimRacing GP will be there for you in the near future to make league organisation much easier.
All these services that we're seeing popping up, Sim Racing GP, Low Fuel Motorsports, what's the other one? The one that's partnered with Low Fuel now. They were a competitor. God, they were one of the first. I forget their name now. Hopefully someone in chat can remember. I think they're partnered with LFM. What's the biggest shame is we shouldn't need these services. Am I right?
Oh yeah, it should just be built in. Like it is crazy. I take it for granted with iRacing because I've been on iRacing since 2016, and really before that I was just on F1 and Project Cars. But yeah, it is mad when you see on ACC how you got to like sort out your port codes and IP addresses in order to do stuff. And yeah, it seems very backwards. But no, these services are very useful in that they're
I think Low Fuel
accessible.
Low Fuel Motorsports is excellent. Like, not good, excellent. When it was in its infancy, my growing thing with my friends was ACC or Kuno. Who makes it? Kuno? Who makes ACC?
Kudos.
Anyway, whoever it is should have bought them. It was they had nailed it. They had absolutely nailed that. Yeah, Skid saying LFM really kickstarted ACC on the community. Oh, the Steam numbers alone, like, I swear the games Low Fuel gave ACC were bigger than like some of their DLC releases. That's how popular it got it. I think some people underestimate how popular Low Fuel was at age. It used to be more European time focused. That was the general theme that you got, but it's excellent. All the protests are well handled. Actually, they're handled with really good transparency. The whole protest system. You're very involved in. I may have been protested. Well, I was. No, it wasn't. I wasn't being malicious.
Given a chance to apologies. You were given a chance to defend yourself, were you?
There was no defending what I did. No, I was very. I was. I'm an ACC noob. That's my best argument I can give.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's cool, and yeah, it's nice as well that sim races are getting into online, because I think everyone gets to a certain point in single player stuff where it's like needs something more, and online competitive racing is that thing. And once you get into online competitive sim racing, I find it very tricky to go back.
100%.
You really need those real people.
I sometimes, like, the friends I used to hang around with, that we used to just play racing games. I mean, that's where I came from. I can't go back to. I don't even do AI. I can't stand it because I don't know. It's hard. You just can't.
Well, I don't think there's anything extra to it. There's no like. I mean, I think it's underrated just how important iRacing is to the iRacing service.
Correct.
It's something to aim for. Whereas if it's just solo player, there's nothing there, is it? You're just going. You're not winning anything important. That's why people get into like league racing and stuff after they got into like official series. So yeah, no, it is not a surprising trend. Anything else that you wanted to talk about in sim racing news, or good to move on to ART?
Yeah, just again, I know the general chat is against this motorsport games fiasco. That's the perfect word. But I'm praying something good can come out of Le Mans Ultimate. I'm an R Factor fan. I like Studio 397. If anything happens with motorsport games, I hope that studio can stay unharmed. That's my closing statement. I really do not want to see Studio 397 go down with motorsport games.
Yeah.
I'd hate to see that. We would all lose out.
Fully agree with that one. Fully agree with it. So Apex Racing team, big headline. The I can't remember what it's called now. What's it called? Grand Prix Turn Racing iRacing Series, round 6 at Belle Isle.
Rolls off the tongue.
Genuinely, really good race. Let's get a clip of it. Let's hear Jake Sperry commentating along. One of the best commentators on iRacing is Jake. Well, this was going on so Ben, I don't think Ben's won a race so far this season. Terrific driver is Ben Fuller.
Yeah.
He was leading for a bit. But tyres, he was running out of tyres. And he started getting held up. Then you can see, it's all very close. Let's go use Leo. I paused it at a perfect point here. This is when Leo goes into the wall. That was accidental for me. Collides with second and third place. They get wiped out. I think Lemonek may have been involved, who I think was leading the championship going into that round. Ben's pulled away a little bit here. And then not too much happens for... Well, I mean, a lot is happening, but I don't want to bore everyone. And, of course, if you're listening to the podcast, apologies. We'll try to explain what's going on this. But Ben Fuller, Apex Racing team driver, leading the way at Belle Isle in these IRO1 cars, which are so huge, very tricky to overtake. And cars are 3 seconds a lap off the pace because they've got old tyres, being caught. And they're just trying to avoid, trying to defend as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, I can't imagine racing this speed car on no tyres around this track. No, thank you.
Oh, this was depressing. This is when Fuller goes into... Oh, yeah, here we go. I was on the wrong straight. There you go. There goes Fuller. He got a drive-through penalty because I think he got hit from behind and got like a 4X or something, which got him to the instant limit. It's all going on behind. Ross and Tien, Espes.
This looks sweaty work.
And, of course, our driver is Torres, driving for SDK Gaming. He's in the black livery. Ben gets back out on circuit. And then it's just an insane battle. There goes Ross into the pits. He's got too many incidents, so he's now got a drive-through penalty. He has to bail from the lead. And then Torres, going on to the last lap of the race, realised he could win the race. And he's setting it up nicely through turn 1. He's got slightly better tyres, I think, than Tien.
I see Michael Yanni in 5th as well.
Oh, yeah, Michael did really well. Yeah, up in 5th place. And this is where Manny manages to pull it off. And that was it. And, you know, if you just looked at him across the line, you'd think, oh, it was quite an easy race win because he managed to pull up 2 seconds. And look how happy he is. And so he should be. Came from nowhere. Amazing result for Manny. Yeah. He was literally promoted to Apex Racing team like earlier this week. So
was it before or after the result?
It was. Well, I can go on the Instagram.
Sorry.
He was.
I think it was
promoted,
before.
It was definitely before, 4 days ago. So 3 days before that race.
That's the
first
turning
race
point.
As a proper Apex Racing team driver, and he goes wins. And what a way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. So that's what I need to get quick. That promotion. I need to speak to someone.
Get Lewis to do you a graphic.
Yeah,
put it up there. And so it's official.
Actually,
I mean, that's when it happens, right?
Actually, quick story. When my photos were taken, you know, when I joined the academy, Lewis sent me like all the imagery and everything, and then all the social media stuff to market it. And I noticed in there was a Samswood _black and green for like depending on what cover, but there was a blue, and I clicked it. And I was like, so it's been prepared. I saved that really quickly.
Watch this space.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe next week David will be promoted. Maybe I'll be promoted. I'm not even in the academy, so I got absolutely no credentials. Really good job then from Manny. You mentioned that Michael did well. Ben down in 9th, which is still decent points. I don't think Manel's got much of a great chance at the title, honestly. But like a win's a very good one, and the points are very spread amongst everyone. So keep an eye on that one. That was a really good race. I know it's a rubbish car in reality because it's not related to real life and no one drives it. But the racing in that, genuinely one of the best races I've seen on iRacing. And I do not say that lightly.
Yeah, that was brave of iRacing when that car got announced, because we got the fake NASCAR track, the Super Speedway, whatever it's called. But I think the IRO one was formed out of, I believe it was issues with the pandemic, right? They had problems getting to get into locations that they were like booked in for and paid for, and like they realized they didn't know how long all this was going to go on for. So they're close partners with Delara, and they managed to come up with their own spec formula car, which they were going to use for esports events and to boost to the grid. But obviously the pandemic coming to an end. We got the Mercedes Formula One car, obviously the F4 license championship. So yeah, we'll see how long this championship can keep running. But yeah, it's not a car that has much relevancy for most people.
I'm trying to look for other results. Apologies for not being very engaged. Good results in Road Atlanta. Sorry, it's really confusing between Petit Le Mans and Pesque Contenders. Petit Le Mans wasn't last week, was it? It was the week before. It was the week before,
yeah,
of course it was the week
because
before.
you covered my fuel and everything. Remember, chat was on there.
Yeah, I made fun of you. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you made fun of me that
good
week.
memories. Quinton, well, let's have a look at these results. Quinton Violet's very good results. Michael, solid. Luke, great day for Luke, but you consider that it's very tricky to recover from a poor sprint, which Luke tried to do. He got that back up to P7, so decent points. I think he's still championship leader, and not a great day either for Parker, but they're all looking really good. We went over the championship standings last week, so I won't go over it again, but I think they're all in the top 10 at the moment, and it's top 15 get through, so very good.
Very strong.
No race tomorrow. Is a race next week, however. Back in Long Beach. Street circuits, man. Do you like them in sim racing? I'm a big fan.
Took me a long time to enjoy them because a lot of them, I came from F1 games and F1 knowledge. So when I first came to iRacing, I had gaps in my knowledge on tracks, and the ones I learned are your Sebrings, Road Atlanta, Road America, and the street circuits, Long Beach, were my last to learn. And let's face it, if you're bad at them, you hate it. And for a long time, I was bad at them, so I hated them. Over time, fell in love with them. I suppose I got better, right? Because the whole point of a street track, the only way to be quick is to go from 3 mil to the wall to 3 mil to the wall on entry and exit. So once I started to learn and to have the confidence to do that, I fell in love. I started doing Long Beach endurances. I think we picked up a win in an IMSA 2-4 in an LMP2. No, is it LMP2 or LMPH? I can't remember which. Doesn't matter. In a prototype around Long Beach. Oh my god! Like you are full focus, 100% concentration. But yeah, I like them. Big fan now.
Yeah, one of my favorite weeks was Long Beach in the Indy cars, and that was like 60 lap races, and I don't think I crashed once in like 5 races, and it was really good. I think what I like in sim racing generally is sort of having the ability to push it that much further in order to get the extra pace. I find it very frustrating when I don't know how to get faster. But with a street circuit, as you say, you just drive it closer to the walls, and so it is very fun. All those races. So I'm a big supporter. More of it, please.
Sorry, Skids in chat has just reminded us that we have skipped over a section on our notes at the very tippity top.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Well, we skipped to number 2 and forgot to go to number 1. Yes,
iRacing patch.
He mentioned the GT Challenge Series. That is something on our list that the HPD is joining.
Yes,
something I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, I saw that on the forums earlier on. For next season, the GT Challenge, which previously has had the GT1 and GT2s, will still have those cars, but also have the HPD. Don't know why the HPD wasn't already in there, but that is nice because that is sending me right back to 2016.
So are they calling it GT Challenge, or are they going to really call it the Le Mans Classic Series?
Oh, no. So I made that up.
But that should be the name.
That should be the name. Well, they can't say Le Mans, can they?
Oh, because Motorsport Games. Yeah. Oh, we're on the wrong train. GT Challenge.
Classic endurance, relatively classic.
Circuit Le Savre Classics.
Yeah. There you go.
HPD, for anyone who hasn't driven it or is newer to the sim, and it was always an amazing car. We used to have it in IMSA, because we used to have the Chevy, the HPD, and then the GTE.
I don't think it was ever in IMSA. I think it was always in its own thing.
No, HPD was definitely in either ILMS or IMSA.
Oh, yeah, so I meant like
ILMS.
Yeah.
ILMS. Oh, yeah, IMSA was...
DP. DP, GTE, and GT3. Before that, it was DP, GT3, and Porsche Cup.
Correct. Okay, so ILMS, which then became ESS. That was it. HPD. Oh, so it was LMP1, HPD, GTE. Was that it then? Yeah, LMP1. We didn't have an
For a
LMP2,
bit, yeah.
HPD,
Yeah.
and then GTE.
But even before that, it was just HPD, GT1, GT2, I think. So I think it is literally an exact replica of what, like, used to be the, like, second biggest endurance series on iRacing. IMSA, I think, was always bigger. But
ILMS
it's a
to me
great,
was
great car.
ILMS was the one to me.
Yeah.
That's the one GTEs. That's what I did. That's all I did. GTEs, ILMS, loved it.
It's nice to see it back. I did a Neo 24 Hours of Le Mans. Good memories of that one. So yeah, nice that it's back. A big thing to the UI change on iRacing. Maybe we weren't clear about that. This is the iRacing patch update. We have got UI payments for the first time. Whenever in the past you've always gone, I want that track. Now I've got to go over to the website.
Yeah, then it bings you off to the website.
Yeah, and it's like, come on, guys.
It was because they developed the UI with. I mean, they did a lot in the beginning. Like, they got a lot of the UI in place and then announced that the web UI would be phased out. And we believed them because they had done 70% of the work in one release. And then they must have fired the team that works on them because now we're here 18 months down the line.
More than 18 months.
It's been ridiculous. But they limited, I mean, perhaps newer people don't know, but they have limited the web and what it can do since the release of the UI, but then never finished the UI. Still half of the actions you want to perform, whether it's purchasing or checking how many stints or whatever, a lot of the information is missing. I think, there you go, there's something I miss. Let's say you finish a race and you want to see your laps because you want to check on your consistency, right? And you're out of the session, you've left the session. On the web, there's a little results thing you can hover on, and it shows you every lap time, what was your fastest off tracks. I don't believe the UI.
Can't do it on UI.
Yeah.
Can't do tournaments on UI. You can't look at world records on the UI.
I never check them. I'm never there.
Oh yeah, well I just assume that I'm at the top. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So nice work from iRacing. Overdue. Doesn't work apparently because I was chatting to Samuli Kume yesterday when we were doing a broadcast. He needed to buy Aragon, and it wouldn't let him do it. So I think it might be like maybe an outside of US thing, or maybe it's just some teething issues. It's fair enough. As long as the website still works for a bit longer. Yeah. So
Alan's right as well. Finding races older than 60 days. You're right. You can scroll down for. I think I was doing this recently. I wanted to talk about a result I recently had. Scrolled down, maxed out, and had to go over to the web and start the whole procedure. Another thing, actually, if we're berating iRacing here, you know the remember my login on the web? You know, like you type username and password, and there's a remember.
Fills basically, yeah.
Has it ever worked for you?
I never turn it on.
Oh, I've been turning it on for years. I don't know if I've done something wrong.
I think it logs me in automatically. But on the web UI, it doesn't log you in. It like auto-fills your stuff, I think.
I thought that was my password manager doing the autofill.
Maybe it is.
Anyway, hi, Alan.
Yeah, so good work. New spectate session area on the UI. No one cares about that apart from commentators like myself, who is always a big debate. Every time we have a new commentator, it's like you got to make a decision. You got one way or the other way. One way, websites, go to the spectate session area. Other way, go to the find official series area and click on the arrow and then press spectate. I've gone for the UI. I like it. I don't really know what this adds. I think it's actually quite nice. It's all in one page, but they've done it separately. I think that will be nice for some websites fans because it's basically incorporating an element that has been on the websites from the very start.
But again, you're right. No one cared, no one asked. They've got a list of things we have been asking them for, and they did this.
Yeah. I mean, it probably took like 5 minutes, didn't it? It's probably just like Control-C, Control-V, make a new page, change it a bit. and then done.
I just don't know where the work and effort went because, I say, they got so much done on like.
Yeah, but you don't know how long they were working on it. Like, I think they were working on it for like 3 years before they released the original version.
It's just it's a website with the right click button disabled, right? It's just a web page. The UI.
Yeah.
It's just a web page.
Mm.
Madness.
Love your iRacing.
We do.
We really are appreciative. It's a great service. But yeah, I think hopefully they enjoy the banter about it. They do, or maybe we're just bullies. Back to Apex Racing Team.
Yep.
There was also Sim Cup. Now this went well. Not for the element DH, I think. Not. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry. So GT3 class winners at Road Atlanta. I'll share my screen. The 197 finishes in a solid fourth, but a tough day for the 199 and 198. I think they got wiped out. I think they were on they were locked out the front row of the grid. But yeah, good work from the GT3 car to be able to take that one. Here's some nice shots.
Yeah, GTD, it was 1 and 2 for Q.
Yeah.
But the car with Owen was involved in a big accident, and I can't remember how the other car got on. But yeah, I believe it was. I'm getting confused because it's the same track as Petit Le Mans.
Yeah, everything's been at Road Atlanta,
Yeah.
hasn't it? But yeah, here's some highlights produced for the event, and yeah, you will eventually see it. I'm not going to turn on the sound because Instagram is so loud. This was an insane moment where the GT3 managed to miss. Again, apologies to podcast listeners. But yeah, a GT3 car hit on the final corner at Road Atlanta and nearly hit the wall. It was ever so close. This is what happened to the ART car. That wasn't the car spun around, but yeah, Pete driving the car. That was the 199, got wiped out through no faults their own.
Yeah.
And then this one was another one at turn 1.
Wow.
Both LNDH is really unlucky.
Yeah, for sure. Really had the pace though, because obviously they're showing. I mean, Apex are showing quali, like absolutely showing up and dominating in quali right now. That's probably why I don't wear blue, because I am absolutely terrible at qualifying.
And yeah, Sanchez driving really well and managed to take the lead and ended up winning the race. How much was it by? 3 seconds, easy. That was that? No, was it Sal? I think it was Salva and Sanchez, right? In a car together. So yeah, really good job from those pair. Yeah, really strong drivers. Salva improving a lot. Sanchez established after his mega enter last season, and Pes wasn't quite the super high hopes that he hoped it. Like obviously he's the standard driver where he wants to win the title. He's demonstrating he's possibly the #1 guy in GT3s on iRacing at the moment. So yeah, great work from him.
Skids in chat. Road Atlanta is probably the roughest track on the big endurance calendar.
Yep,
agreed.
Yeah, Johan Hartha was mentioning this last week. He was saying how he was disappointed not to do Petite because he loves Petite because of the traffic elements of it, and no other event has that.
Always something to do. Always. There is never a quiet corner. There's always a decision to be made. It's why I love it the most as well. Your prep needs to be high. Your traffic management needs to be high. Your teamwork needs to be high. Your strategy. It's brilliant. It's taken me 3 or 4 years, whatever, my entire sim racing career to finish my first one finally. Podium. It's not easy. But I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. It's the one I look forward to the most. But if your car's sitting in a good position and you're jumping in, you're heading out of pit row, and your teammate's saying, you've got 3 LMDH on exit and 2 GTs on, you're immediately in it, and there's no time to, like a Le Mans, you've got a couple of laps to get used to the car. Your teammate will be telling you, just feel it out, get used to the tyres, and then push. Nope. Road Atlanta, it's sharks straight away.
Yeah, really demanding. And we visited there in every car, it seems like, in the last couple of weeks. Probably will have a little bit of break from it now. But it's, really good. That's the final special event of the season. It does finish it. Well, you got Suzuka to announce, to be fair, nowadays.
No, it's gone. It's Fuji. They got rid of Suzuka.
Oh.
Yeah. Fuji 8.
Psycho.
Fuji 8 now.
Fuji 8. I missed that. I think people have been saying that this whole year, and yet I've just been hearing Suzuka that entire time, honestly, because I don't listen. I think that's Apex Racing team covered because there was no ESL R1. So well done to all the guys. Some more good results, as we have become accustomed to. Let's have a look at some good clips from Apex Racing TV. Let's whack up the volume on this one. Oh, yeah, good shout. Fade. There you go. So this was a very close finish. Well, who do you think is going to win out of this one? David, Walker, or Ariel going for the win at Spa?
Gustavo. But I haven't seen the clip.
Okay, you haven't seen the clip. Good, good. Yeah, this was very, very close. This was very esports. This was aggressive as well. James on the inside here, and he does not have room given to him. He track extends. He's not being let back onto the circuit either, and Ariel does hold on. But, I mean, Ariel was not giving him a whole lot of friendliness there, was he?
I'm going to plead the fifth, as an American would say. No, yeah, no, he wasn't given room. I can understand. Esport things. I think you summed it up.
Other good clip. This is another week. Was the last one Weekend Warriors? No, it was very esports, the previous one. This is a Weekend Warriors. A car unfortunately getting beached. Who thought that you could get beached there? But it happened to Dave Ogburn. And this is, the annoying thing is that it was actually out of nicety. So he's fine here, and then he's seen some traffic come along, and he's stops, and he can't get his rear wheels back on the track.
Yeah,
he's stranded. Oh, sorry, I had volume off. There you go.
Yeah, that's awkward. I've seen it at a few tracks, and obviously this is a strange little car. I like this car, but yeah, it's just one of those things.
Disappointing there. That's pretty much the Apex Racing TV clips we have for this week. We'll try to provide some more for next week. Always good to see. And in terms of Apex Racing League, I'll quickly do a quick review. They've only been a couple of events anyway. But earlier on, we covered the Prototype Championship. Dare I say, maybe the dullest round of the season.
It's Le Mans things, right? I think it was entertaining for Le Mans. But yeah, obviously, it's great that we have our two classes, but obviously Le Mans could handle 5, right? It's a long lap.
An extra 60 cars as well.
Yeah. Probably the biggest entertainment factor came from the limiting runtime and deployment you get in qualifying. Put a lot of cars out of position, so we got to see a lot of battling. The slowdowns, again, helped facilitate. I think, like, if we got rid of the slowdowns and everyone had time to qualifying, it would have been a very, very dull race. But obviously, our leader getting a slowdown lap 1 let us probably put on the most entertainment part of the race. But yeah, more to come. Exciting season. Very exciting IMSA season ahead. I'm pumped. We got, what, off the top of my head, we got Sebring, Monza,
Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, Road America, Red Bull Ring, and Daytona.
Daytona. I don't think we've got that in Prototype Championship, but yeah, I think that's week 12. It must be in in IMSA. So yeah, that'll be pretty manic.
Excellent.
There's also been Apex Racing Academy Super Formula. That was over at Aragon. And yeah, we had a third different winner. Lennart Schnabel managed to win quite comfortably from third position on the grid. That one wasn't super exciting either, but it was quite close. I was glad to see Aragon. Have you had a try much on Aragon so far?
I honestly, since joining Apex and working on YouTube, I haven't had any time to learn any of the new track. I think the last one I learned was Rudskogen or Oschersleben, one of those two. I get confused.
Yeah, they came out.
But since then, I haven't learned any of the new tracks.
Yeah.
I'm not the best at learning. Like, obviously, I put pressure on myself to be at a certain performance level, and I find it very frustrating to get to that level. Like Red Bull Ring, for example, I'm not going to tell you how many hours I had to grind to get to the level I expect myself to be at, but it took me a long time. So yeah, I just haven't had the time to learn a new track. And we did see a bit of a trend with iRacing probably since, was it Manicure? That the attendance was so low. I think Manicure was I think Fuji did fine.
Fuji's done really well. Yeah. I'm surprised.
Yeah, Fuji did well. But that's a big ticket name, you know. Whereas Manicure suffered well, not to the level we expected. And then, yeah, Rudskogen, Oschersleben. Hopefully, I'm saying them semi-correct.
Hareth has been all right from what I've seen. Not super popular, but it's keeping its head above water.
Yeah, again, yeah, it didn't do as well as we thought.
But Aragon definitely is not very popular. It's quite a tricky circuit, very hot track temperature as well because it's.
And we've got another
in a
new one,
desert.
Legadon.
Oh yeah, that French one. Did a few laps in the Radical. Quite really tricky. Like so many blind corners on it. Like it's actually not too far away from where Johan Hart uh, is from originally.
But I am doing my part. I bought them all. I'm 100% content.
Oh yeah,
owner.
yeah.
I'm doing my part for the
Even
community.
oval.
100%, mate.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm fully committed to being crazy.
You
right?
can take responsibility for that spectator sessions being on the UI. You paid that person's wage.
Correct.
to
That's
make
why I
that-
can be vocal. I am paying for someone's
Yeah.
wage there.
Yeah, it's let us know what you think of Aragon. I think it's all right.
I've heard
Not
good
great.
things. I've heard,
It's not that much liked honestly in MotoGP even.
yeah,
Like
I heard it's fast and fun, but there wouldn't be any overtaking. That's the comment I heard.
the backstroke's long and it's like the tightest hairpin you've ever seen at the end of it. So you should be able to overtake even if it's a dive. I think it's all right actually, and it's wide. But yeah, it's just not used that much in World Motorsport, is it? Apart from MotoGP. So yeah, understandable why it's not very popular. And iRacing getting to the point where they've got so many good circuits and they've got so few good circuits not on the sim that this is going to happen. There's very few circuits that you could add to the sim now and you'd think, yeah, that's going to do well. Can you think of any? Maybe Portland? I'm thinking of?
Bahrain.
You think, but yeah, I guess. I think it'd be a bit of a Fuji, wouldn't it? I
Yeah.
don't think it's actually very good
And
that people would visit it.
A track I do like in F1. I don't know if it would just be good in F1 cars. But the damn name slipped out my head as we started the sentence. It's the one with the. It's the where Leclerc blew it into the wall. I'm
Paul
stupid.
Ricard.
No, not that's not a track. We're not talking about that. That's a
Baku.
yes.
Okay.
What's the longer name for Baku? Azerbaijan.
The country is Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan.
Is this the circuit is the Baku Street Circuit. Baku's.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be relevant in the kind of cars I enjoy, but I don't know. Baku has grown on me for entertainment and watching. I think it's good.
I'm a big fan of Baku. People are saying Portimao, that's going to be added soon. Mugello as well, I think, is another big one. I think that will do all right.
Yeah.
Misano, I'm not so sure. I've heard that's like a big favourite. Like my brother-in-law, it's like his favourite circuit in the world. He's a big MotoGP fan. Aragon does host ELMS. Apologies, you were right. But yeah, I mean, still maybe just not big enough, honestly, to carry that circuit. Unfortunately.
But no, I'm not interested in Paul Ricard. That is it's a painting, not a racetrack. Oh, Kill Army. That's the other track I was looking for.
I don't understand the hype around Kyle Army, honestly. It looks quite good, but I don't know. I didn't get it. Like,
No, I'm just saying a track that could.
you're right. Apologies, and I'm making an argument out of it. It's like, I feel bad, but like I don't know. It's often up there, and people are obsessed with it being in F1. And it's like, you think it'd actually be any good? Like, there's not much to go on. I don't know. I don't understand the hype around it, but it's very popular on ACC.
I was just
So-
thinking, I think in my Apex Racing Academy interview, I got asked on the spot, what track would you like to see added to iRacing that isn't there? And I think my answer was Bahrain.
A couple of other comments coming in. Ryan Reisman. IndyCar go to Portland. Yeah, I said Portland originally. I'm amazed Portland hasn't been added yet. Like, they got all the IMSA circuits. I think they've got all the IMSA circuits. And they got almost all the IndyCar circuits. You can understand why they haven't got Nashville because it's not it's fairly new, and the new Detroit circuit as well. But yeah, somehow don't have Portland. Add it, please.
Can I steal the screen?
Yeah, sure.
This is my first time I've shown my laptop, so fingers crossed this doesn't blow up. Okay, so when I joined, I got asked a series of questions. Look at this.
Wow.
This is where I started.
It's
Ayrton
all
Senna.
this will be read out at your funeral.
Yeah. All right, so I got asked Oh yeah, by the way, favorite car track combination. I went with Porsche GT3 Outroad Atlanta.
Yep.
Think that's a good shout. Here's the track. How did we not
Ah.
mention it? What is one track that should be an iRacing? And I said Singapore. It would be stunning. It's a stunning track at night.
We do a few of these with like ARA drivers and ART drivers. Singapore is the most common one. I think it comes up about 1 in 4 times.
Yeah,
which is really high
cannot-
considering the chance.
Cannot believe. Look at this. Me sweating inside an IRL car that just left the track. But yeah, Singapore. I don't know how we didn't think of it. I think it would be
I
fantastic.
think it'd be really good. I'm not
Yeah.
a big fan of it in F1, honestly, but I think in sim racing, I said earlier on how I'm a big fan of street circuits. I think that would be
Oh,
that would be mega to
Yeah.
drive that. It would actually be quite good.
yeah. Sod Bahrain. I've changed my mind. Singapore.
So yeah, that was our AOL chats. Somehow it feels like it went a bit off topic, but there
That's
you
the
go.
name of the series. That's the name of the show. Off topic. No, Late Apex.
Late Apex. Yeah, you just realised you're on the wrong show. Like,
I've
where
got-
have I been for the last 3 weeks?
I've got off topic after.
Yeah, there you go. Few ideas for Australian street circuits. Surfers Paradise, please. One of my favourite circuits in the world.
Mhm.
And yeah, some others. Adelaide's pretty good.
Yep.
There's a few good ones. But I mean, these are fairly obscure circuits, and they take time for iRacing to make these street circuits. So
Before we close the show, then a controversial one. You said you like street circuits. We're all talking about what should come to iRacing.
Monaco,
Question mark. Yes, because
it wouldn't work. Like genuinely, you couldn't host races on there.
I
most of the
agree.
time. Like because you'd just have track blockages every race.
yes.
Like even like Porsche Cup, 24 cars on Porsche Cup, you would have a track blockage on the oh man, come on, Sam, you know F1. What's the type? The Lowe's hairpin. It's not called the Lowe's hairpin anymore, but the
I
Lowe's
know what you
hairpin.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or up the hill to turn 2 every lap. If you go single file, you can't go
Yeah.
too wide there.
Yeah, no,
It
I
w-
agree. It is, Matt, the old Formula One when they were light, nippy, based on acceleration with great brakes, and it's not all.
Even in the
Dirt,
early
yeah.
2010s, it was
Yeah.
alright, wasn't it? But
But nowadays it is. I am like I want the historic things to last. I don't like change. I love Formula One, but in these buses they now drive, let's call them that, it doesn't work. It's actually silly to watch.
qualifying really good though. This year's qualifying, but one of the best qualifying.
Well,
I've ever
the only
seen.
thing I don't like about qualifying is we need the MotoGP rule. If you red flag the session, you lose your lap.
Well, it should just be one shot quali for Q3. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
it's getting
Solve it.
silly now.
Yeah.
Because if you've got pole, of course drive
Yeah.
over the limit on your way back to the pits.
Yeah.
Why not? If you lock up into that stupid before the swim pool section, if you lock up and go long and park your car,
Well, Rosberg.
Rosberg,
And obviously,
you-
like, I personally think Rosberg did it deliberately back
100%.
in 2014 because he's turning the wheel 20 times
100%.
before the corner. It's like,
yellow
come on,
flag,
man.
and pole.
Yeah.
I don't think Leclerc wouldn't have deliberately drove into a wall to secure pole
I don't think so, and that's a really common
because that would be
mistake.
stupid.
Yeah.
Destroying the front of your car a day before. I don't know.
And I think he was improving on that lap anyway, wasn't he? So
Plus, it would have to mean deep down he believes Ferrari can get it fixed in time. I don't think he believes Ferrari could bring him to the track on time.
no.
No, I sort my own transport. You're good.
So yeah, I don't think Monaco will be added anytime soon. I don't think it needs to be, unfortunately. I think that's pretty much it for us.
Yep.
Anything extra you'd like to say?
No, great fun considering we thought we'd just be talking about the Expo. It turned into a great show.
Yeah, over an hour and 15, so easy.
Easy.
This. Imagine if we actually have a week where there's like loads of stuff.
I know, it would be a short one
Yeah.
because
yeah.
we'll stick to the script.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Rennsport got released today. Not much to say about it. Yeah, one day maybe we'll have one of them. But yeah, for now,
Yeah.
the 90-minute episodes are common. You could have watched a movie in this time. Instead, you've watched us, and we appreciate it.
Yes.
Whether you're watching on YouTube, thanks for engaging with us. If you're watching on
iTunes, Spotify.
iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you very much for watching that from there as well. And I don't know what the plan is next week. I won't be around next week.
I believe it's myself and Alex.
Alex, oh
Yeah,
no.
so
They say in show business, never go on holiday because your replacement comes in and they do a better job than you,
yeah.
and then the executives kick you out. I'm a bit concerned that Mr. Simpson might usurp me on that one. So you're going to get the lovely tones of Alex next time, if you can stay awake for it, because it does go on for a while. Does this? I'm trying to figure out how to end the stream. Here we go. I can now end the stream. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you so much, people in chat asking questions. It was fun to hang out with you all, and yeah, looking forward to next week. I think it's gonna be the best week. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's gonna be an average.
I'm not gonna watch it. I don't support it. Don't support it. They do watch next week.
Excellent.
Yes. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
Yeah, cheers all.
We'll see you next time.